Which would you say is the best value Mac that's available to purchase right now? That might seem like an obvious question with the MacBook Neo and the M4 Mac Mini, but I think there's a little bit more to it. There are lots of different things that affect someone's perception of value, and what you value may be different to what somebody else values. So coming up with a definitive answer to this question is actually really difficult. For example, you might go for a MacBook Neo because you don't care that it doesn't have a backlit keyboard or Thunderbolt 4. On the other hand, you might really care about those features, so they obviously represent far more value to you than someone else. So I can't really consider any of those things in this discussion. What I am going to consider is simply the performance of the CPU and the performance of the GPU. And what I want to try and do is get to the point where we get a score that gives you the overall performance for the price that you pay. So I've come up with this spreadsheet and I'd love to get your feedback on what you think about it. So I'm taking the laptops from 25-26 and putting those on one sheet and the desktops from 25-26 on another sheet. Obviously, you can't directly compare laptops and desktops because laptops, of course, have a screen. And I haven't included the iMac for that reason as well. So this still needs a little bit of work. But I've got all of the models here. So I'm looking at the notebooks. I've got the Neo. I've got the different versions of the MacBook Air, both M5 and M4, because that's still available. And speaking of the M5 MacBook Air, I've got one here that I've been testing. So if you'd like to see my full review of this machine, please subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when that content drops. And then I've got the MacBook Pro with the M5, M5 Pro, and M5 Max chips in each of the variants at the cheapest possible price point. So I'm recording what the CPU and GPU are, I'm recording the memory, and then I've got the Geekbench 6 scores. So let's just start with the single core score. So this is what matters for things like web browsing. And I find that the Geekbench 6 single core score is a very reliable indicator of performance across Apple Silicon, and we can directly compare between Apple Silicon models. Obviously, it's a different thing if you're trying to compare Apple Silicon to Intel or AMD, but because we're only comparing Apple Silicon, this will be fine. So I'm taking the Geekbench 6 single core score, and I'm literally dividing it by the price. So here I've got the price listed. I'm using UK prices. So I've got the retail price and I've got a discounted price. So I've looked around just on Amazon and KRCS, which is a big reseller here in the UK, just to see what you can buy these at today. And I factored in the discounted price in my scores here. Let me just pop my glasses on. I've got a single core score based on the retail price. Let me just adjust that down to the cheapest possible Neo. And that gives us a score of 6.01. If we can get it at a discounted price, and KRCS are currently offering that base model at £549, that's without the education discount, you get a score of 6.55. And you can see, looking at all of the other notebooks on the list, MacBook Neo is comfortably ahead when it comes to single core performance for the price you pay. It offers the best value. So if you simply want a basic notebook for browsing the web, which is what a lot of people are buying Neo for, then it is absolutely ideal and represents great value. Though there is a caveat, which I'm going to come back to in a moment. Let's move on to multi-threaded CPU performance or multi-core performance. Now, I have included the Geekbench 6 multi-core scores here, but these are not reliable indicators for two reasons. Firstly, it doesn't factor in a sustained load, so there's no thermal throttling. So things like the MacBook Air will appear to perform better than they actually do in real life. And things like the Ultra chips tend to not score very well at all because of the way Geekbench is set up. So you get a false impression of the performance. So we can't use that for multi-core score. What I'm going to do instead is use the Cinebench 2026 test. This is a 10-minute 3D render using the CPU. And I've done exactly the same thing again. I've taken that score and divided it by both the retail and the discounted price to come up with the scores here in columns N and O. And as you can see, the MacBook Neo is middle of the road when it comes to multi-threaded performance, and your best value is now the M5 Pro chips that you can find in the 14-inch MacBook Pro. Interesting. Let's move on to GPU performance. And here I'm going back to Geekbench 6 and using the metal test. And I found again over the years I've tested a lot of these Apple Silicon machines, and I find the Geekbench 6 metal test to be a reliable indicator of graphics performance for these machines. So I've taken the score, divided it by the price again, and now we get another leader, and that is the M5 MacBook Air. That seems to be offering the best graphics performance for the price you pay. Interesting, so three different notebooks all vying for the title. So we need some sort of combined score. And this is where my mathematics probably falls a little bit short. But what I decided to do is divide the GPU score by 10, add it to the multi-core score and the single core score, and then just divide it by 3 to get a mean average. Anyone who's a better mathematician than me, which won't take much, please comment below on how I could improve this formula. But this gives us a CPU and GPU score that again shows MacBook Neo at the top, followed by MacBook Air. Interesting. And where it is especially interesting is if we analyze the price of the upgraded MacBook Neo. So if I change the retail price over here on that from $599 to $699, because I think a lot of people will buy the 512 gig model for the extra storage and the Touch ID. And as soon as you do that, MacBook Air becomes better value in terms of the performance you're getting for the price you pay, according to this score. This is even true if we use discounted pricing. So KRCS are selling that model of Neo for $649, and you can get the entry-level M5 MacBook Air for $989. And that puts MacBook Air comfortably ahead. Now, yes, I know there's a huge difference here of £300 or whatever, and if that represents 50% of the price you're paying for a laptop, there are a lot of people who are assessing value purely on the price tag of the laptop, and I completely get that. But there are others who are assessing value based on the amount of performance they're getting for the money they pay, or these other features that might exist in the notebook. You might look at the difference here and then factor in as well that MacBook Air is giving you 16 gigs of RAM instead of 8, so it's going to have a longer lifespan because, you know, memory requirements are growing all the time. That's both the software, the operating system, but also users progress in how they use their computer, especially younger users. They'll get better at using their computer, they might try more advanced things. So something with 16 gigs of RAM is going to have a longer shelf life, so your total cost of ownership factors in as well, makes the MacBook Air look like even better value. And of course we could compare other things like connectivity, Thunderbolt 4 versus USB and so on and so forth, but we're not doing that. We're just keeping this down to just the performance you get for the price you pay. And even at that level, the MacBook Air appears to represent exceptional value. Now I've had a go at a combined score that factors in memory, and I'm just going to highlight the formula that I'm using. And again, if you're good at mathematics, you can probably come up with a better way of doing this. What I was trying to do is just penalize anything that's below 16 gigs and create a sensible score that we could use as a combined result. So again, there's the formula for the combined result here that includes memory, and that appears to also show that MacBook Air represents better value. And that kind of makes sense. So yes, £300 is 50% more or whatever. It's a lot more money, and a lot of Neo customers are not going to pay that upgrade price. But for those who want a computer and they're looking at value in terms of the performance you get and the features you get and the total cost of ownership, MacBook Air is still Apple's best value notebook, in my opinion. According to my formulas, then the M5 actually looks like better value than the M4 MacBook Air, even though that's available even cheaper still. Although something that I haven't factored in here is that here in the UK, the M5 MacBook Air and the MacBook Neo don't come with a charger in the box, whereas the M4 MacBook Air does. If you buy a charger from Apple, it's £40, or I'll leave a link in the description to a decent 45-watt charger that costs you less than £20. So how much of an impact that makes to the value for you personally will vary, of course. You might already have chargers and you're not fussed about it. So it's very difficult to come up with a one-size-fits-all score, but it's interesting to look at these different laptops in different ways. So for basic web performance, single-core performance, MacBook Neo is pretty much unbeatable in its cheapest iteration. Even if you are upgrading it, it's still just for single core. It gives you more performance for the price paid than a MacBook Air. Once you factor in multi-threaded CPU and GPU score, I think the MacBook Air represents better overall value. And if you're looking for the best in those things, then go up to the M5 Pro MacBook Pro, if you can afford it, of course. Now, I've split off desktop machines. Let's just quickly look at that. I haven't finished all of my workings for these machines, but it comes as no surprise that the M4 Mac Mini wipes the floor with everything else when it comes to performance for the price you pay. And if Apple puts an M5 chip in the Mac Mini this year and manages to keep the price somewhere similar, then that is going to be an astonishing value desktop computer. You'll get better single-core performance, better multi-threaded performance, but 50% better GPU performance. That's monstrous. dangerous for the price point that these things go for. And it comes as no surprise, if you're looking for a Mac Studio, then the best value is found in the cheapest one, the M4 Max binned version with the 36 gigs of RAM. And those Mac Minis with the M4 Pro also look like a great option. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Which is the best value Mac that's available to purchase today? Have you seen any amazing deals? Let us know in the comments section. And please, by all means, correct my math and offer suggestions as to how we can improve this score to do a better comparison in the future. Thanks for watching today. See you again soon for some more geekery.